Welcome back to the Nick Gambaro Show. Last week we were going to get into the topic of should you boo opposing players, especially on rival teams. Unfortunately, last week we didn't get to touch on it, but this week, just because it's such an interesting debate, interesting topic, I think we figured started off Stefan Martinez again with me. As he was last week. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Happy to be back. Appreciate it.
And we discussed this on our radio show a while back about should you boo opposing players, and everyone pretty much kind of ganged up on me when I said about booing Derek Jeter, which we know you were a huge Yankee fan, and you know, the feeling about him, how he's such a revered, respected player, one of the best to ever play the game. You know, should you boo him? Should you not? Or any player at his stature,
his caliber,
yeah, or his accolades, what he's done for the game, what he's won, things like that. So we'll kind of get into that basically for today's show and spend, excuse me, the majority of time on that. So let's get right into it. What's your take on this whole topic?
My opinion is this. Of course, if you're a diehard fan of a team and your rival is constantly better than you, and I'm not using that as a derogatory statement. I don't want people to make it seem that I'm using it as a derogatory or inflammatory remark, but you get tired of kind of getting beat up by the same bully. So you're going to boo him just because you like who you like. Your allegiances lie in certain places. But I think for certain figures, booing shouldn't be allowed. I think when you get to the greats like Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, when you get to, what's like a baseball name? Maybe David Ortiz for the modern era. A lot of people love David Ortiz. Like me personally, as a Yankee fan, I particularly don't have an affection for him, but I respect how great he is as a baseball player. And oftentimes we let our fandom get in the way of how great someone is. Whether personally you have a preference for them or not, you still should appreciate how great they are at what they do. And I think that sometimes we kind of lose sight of that.
I'm with the opposite, and I think it's fine to boo. Look, of course, you should respect the player, or it's really up to the fan, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to do anything. Me personally, do I respect Derek Jeter? Yes, seems like a great person. I don't know him personally, but from
neither do I.
With media, and he's done a lot for the game and things like that. But to me, as a Met fan, I just never cared for him at all. So I always, when I went to a Met Yankee game, I would boo him when he would get up to bat. I didn't see anything wrong with that. I was just felt like, you've been on this team that I cannot stand. You've been better than, the Yankees were always better than the Mets since I've been alive. It's been torturous for me that Jeter was on the team and had such great success with the Yankees. So it always aggravated me, so I would boo. Whenever, not even just him, every Yankee player that gets up to bat, boo, boo. I didn't think that because I'm a Met fan, the Yankees are my arch enemy to me. So more than the Phillies, even in the Nationals. So I boo them, and to me, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's up to the fan how they believe or what.
Personal preference. You can like who you like, not like who you don't like. Now, me, I don't view the Mets as a big rival like everybody else does. I see you 6 times a year. You're not that important. You know who's important to me? The Red Sox, because I played them 18 times, and they're going to decide whether I win the division or lose. So the guy I'm booing is the guy in the Boston Red Sox uniform, more specifically David Ortiz. When Manny Ramirez was on the Red Sox, I couldn't stand him, but I understood how great he was. Now, for the Mets, I don't really have a personal preference. I don't care. Like, they don't move the needle for me. Now, if it's in a World Series, yeah, of course, you boo, but in the regular season, they don't move the needle for me like a Toronto would,
Sure.
or Boston would,
Baltimore.
or Baltimore would. They're another, for me, they're a crosstown rival, yes, but they're another team on the schedule.
Can we get into this first? Because we'll get back into the booing, but you brought something up that I always find interesting as well, especially us as New Yorkers. And we don't want to make this a New York-centric show, but just because you brought it
Alright,
up.
who you kidding? Yeah, you do. Who you talking to? You're on a New York audience. This is New York, baby.
No, but just,
Come on.
the rivalries here we have in the city between every team, including MLS, because I feel like it's different for me, the teams I root for, the Jets, the Mets, the Islanders. I could say the Red Bulls. I wouldn't call myself a die-hard Red, but I would prefer them over NYCFC. But, with those three and who you root for, the Giants, the Knicks, the Yankees, and the Rangers, who have been the more established teams, besides the Knicks, I'm sorry, but the other three more
By the way,
successful.
There's bright horizons for the Knicks, though. They're coming.
Although the Rangers haven't won since '94, and before that wasn't since the '40s, but they've been consistently in the postseason. So for me, as a fan of who I root for, I feel like the New York rivalries would mean way more than if you're a Giant fan or Yankee fan or Ranger fan. Is there some truth to that?
I would agree with that, because honestly, I don't look at the Jets as a rival. I mean, they're not a rival. I see you 4 times. I see you every 4 years. You're not a rival to me. I look at Dallas as a rival. I look at Philly as a rival. The Redskins are rivals. I'm sure with you, New England, Miami, Pittsburgh. Those are your rivals.
Buffalo, yeah.
I can't get as juiced to hate the Jets as a Giant fan. Now, if you told me who do you hate more, the Jets or the Cowboys, I'm gonna tell you I hate the Cowboys more because I'm a diehard Giant fan. Now, if the Jets are in the playoffs, I wouldn't say rooting, but I wouldn't have any interest either way. I just want good football. So I guess for me, the rivalry means less because I've had more success, and that's not a shot. That's just me being honest about the situation.
Yeah, I feel the total opposite. Even though we do meet 4 times a year, I just cannot stand the Giants. Now, not more than New England, because Tom Brady and the Patriots, what they've done the past.
Be careful, the Jet colors are coming out, man. Be careful.
Since I'm a young kid, winning 4 Super Bowls and. Really it was the Jets' fault that Tom Brady even got his opportunity. If you remember the Mo Lewis hit on Drew Bledsoe, that got hurt. Then that was it. Tom Brady came in and
shredded the world.
But I feel like too, with the Mets and Yankees, Yankee fans to me don't really care about the Mets. Like you said, they worry more about the Orioles or the Red Sox or Toronto. But we're going to throw it to a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation on the Nick Gambaro Show.
I learned to make lasting friendships with people I still keep in touch with today.
Because of camp, I learned about self-esteem.
Because of camp, I play guitar.
I learned to be a team player.
I learned about diversity.
Because of camp, I am sending my kids to camp this summer.
I learned how to play guitar, I learned how to canoe, I learned how to fish.
I learned that I was the best Tarzan yeller in the camp.
Because of camp, I became a counselor.
I learned how to take care of the environment.
Because of camp, I learned to navigate the world.
I was good in school for a whole year so that I could go back to camp.
Because of camp, I got a personality. Now I'm...
Because of camp, I turned out just fine.
Welcome back to the Nick Gambaro Show. I'm Nick Gambaro. Alongside me is Stefan Martinez. And we'll continue our topic on, kind of made it into a little bit of a rivalry segment as well, along with should you boo an opposing player, especially on a rival team, depending on, I guess, his records, his accolades, what he's done in his career, like a Michael Jordan or Jeter or Gretzky type of player. But we were talking about rivalries before, mostly here in New York, since we have so many teams, and do the teams really hate each other or the players hate each other?
One thing that's forming into a rivalry, if anybody watched the NBA Finals, which is probably one of the most fascinating NBA Finals in recent memory. I know you don't cover the NBA much, but I think it's important to go here. LeBron and Steph Curry had this kind of, not dislike, but it was just kind of like, yeah, okay, who's really the alpha male of the NBA? Steph Curry, you've been getting talked up. Everybody's been acknowledging that all these accolades you're getting, 2-time MVP and all this sort of stuff. But LeBron's been like, listen, I've been carrying the ship for 13 years. I've been steering this thing, and for you to kind of summarily dismiss me, I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
And he kind of took it personal, and which led to that comeback, I believe.
Yeah, and one thing I was discussing before break was the Mets-Yankees rivalry, how to us Met fans, meeting the Yankees the 4 or 6 times a year is like the biggest games of the year, just besides, of course, Washington and Philly, Atlanta's been pretty bad of late, but, any of the rival games or in-division games, but just because what the Yankees that stand for and what they've been doing, and it's just kind of, we hate that, and especially don't want to really bring it up, but in 2000 when the Subway Series and everything, and Met fans just can't stand the Yankees. But I think, to me, the biggest rivalry in New York has to be Islanders-Rangers. It may not be the most popular sport, hockey, but if you look back historically between the two teams, how many times they met in the playoffs and how many times they face each other in the regular season, and in geography, they not that close. Now they are, because the Islanders are in Brooklyn, and I think that's going to only intensify things more. It's that, because they were always in the same division, always playing in the playoffs, and I think that matters in the playoffs. Like we talk Knicks and Nets, that's really not a rivalry. They might play right near each other in the same division, but they never, correct me if I'm wrong, they never played each other in the playoffs.
They did a couple. They did in '94. The Knicks beat them in the first round in 5 games, and then they played again in 2004, and then that swept the Knicks when Jason Kidd had that conglomerate with Kenyon Martin, Kerry Kittles,
I remember,
Richard Jefferson. So they have met sparingly in the playoffs, but it hasn't been to the degree that a real rivalry was actually born. Like, I look at the teams like the Celtics and teams like the Heat and the Pacers is more of a rival to the Knicks, because when you look at back in the days, you had guys like Reggie Miller, the Davis brothers, Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway.
Yeah.
Those were your rivals as a Knicks fan. The Nets really didn't pose that type of threat to you, so you didn't really look at them like that, although geographically they were probably the closest team to you.
And you can even say Devils Rangers is a big rivalry. I don't know if it's bigger than Islanders Rangers, but historically
it used to be when the Devils were good, and you had Marty Brodeur, and you had a couple other players that they had. It used to be a pretty big rivalry. Now, not so much. Now it's more like you
Scott
said,
Stevens back in the day. Scott Niedermayer.
Yeah, they were that, and they were some phenomenal teams. And I think, honestly, you could speak to this more than me. Sometimes I think they got lost in the sauce because geographically they were in Jersey.
Yeah.
They weren't in New York. They weren't in New York per se. So the rivalry kind of got
on the back burner,
dampened, because it was the Jersey team that was good and not the New York team. So we didn't really pay attention to what was going on there, unless you were a very fan. You loved hockey. You were fan-crazed hockey. You were a fan of the sport. So I guess now that you got the Islanders and the Rangers kind of in the same city, and they're both vying for territory while being
They are.
competitive, I think it brings more juice to the party, if you would.
It absolutely does. And just to bring it back to booing players and things like that, I mean, let's say, for example, you're in the Garden,
Okay.
playoff game,
Okay.
Knicks Pacers, back in the
Oh,
day
wow.
with Reggie Miller. Do you boo him?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Couldn't stand him. Reggie Miller, to me, as a Knicks fan, was like, how can I put it? I'm not gonna say I didn't hate him, because hate is too strong of a word, but he would scare me to high heaven, because I knew if Reggie got open and he got hot, yours is mercy. That's why I would beg Spike, just be quiet. Spike Lee, don't alienate him. Don't do that. Because a guy like that, you start talking to him, start chirping in his ear,
Yeah.
and before you know it, he got 60 and you're down by 25. Don't do that, Spike.
What about conference finals? Knicks Bulls, you're there. Do you boo Jordan?
You absolutely boo Jordan.
Okay.
You boo Jordan in the moment you boo Jordan. But I'm talking about taking a step back and looking at it from the grand scheme of things. You realize and you appreciate how great these players are.
Yeah.
But when you're in the moment, you boo. You absolutely do. I don't even think there's a debate about that. Like, for me, I respect David Ortiz, but I'm not cheering you when you're walking into Yankee Stadium and you're pounding Yankee pitching. I can't. I gotta boo you. But I'm talking about, I guess what I'm saying is that when their
During the
career is
game.
over, you start to take less and less of a fandom route, and you start to respect how great they are and what they did. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Same thing with LeBron. Like, as a Knicks fan, I can't stand him. But as a basketball fan, globally, I respect what he did. I respect him. And I think, when you look at a guy like that, you can't do nothing but applaud what he's done, especially for that city.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
It is, especially winning a championship they haven't won since '64.
52 years. The city of Cleveland can now be called champions, as Mike Breen said during the broadcast. It was pretty emotional, and I think when you do something remarkable like that, your real emotion begins to shine through. You start to realize that this can be over really quick, so let me take advantage of the opportunities that I'm given.
And even rooting for teams that haven't won in a long time. I was talking to you on the phone about it the other day. It is more special.
It is.
Because I asked you, out of all the teams you root for, if the Knicks, and I believe they will for you, the Knicks will win at least once in your lifetime.
From your mouth to the heavens, brother. Appreciate it.
Will that be the most special championship you've seen?
It probably would, because I wasn't alive for '96 for the Yankees' first championship. I really loved the Giants when they won it in '07, beating Brady and taking that undefeated record. But when the Knicks won a championship, I've told you this on many occasions. I think that would be the first time that I would cry at a sporting event. I'd cry, like literally bawl out crying.
I'm sure you would. It's been since 72?
73.
73, sorry. Still a long time. But we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap things up for this episode. Don't go anywhere. The Nick Gambaro Show will be right back.
Check out Easy Access Math on YouTube. It's math made easy.
Because of camp, I learned to make lasting friendships with people I still keep in touch with today.
Because of camp, I play guitar.
Because of camp, I turned out just fine.
If you have any questions or comments, you can always email us at thenickgambaroshow@gmail.com.
Because of camp, I learned learned to make lasting friendships with people I still keep in touch with today.
Because of camp, I learned about self-esteem.
Because of camp, I play guitar.
I learned to be a team player.
I learned about diversity.
Because of camp, I am sending my kids to camp this summer.
I learned how to play guitar, I learned how to canoe, I learned how to fish.
I learned that I was the best Tarzan yeller in the camp.
Because of camp, I became a counselor.
I learned how to take care of the environment.
Because of camp, I learned to navigate the world.
I was good in school for a whole year so that I could go back to camp.
Because of camp, I got a personality. Now I'm...
Because of camp, I turned out just fine.
Chocolate, vanilla, cinnamon, apple, honey, and berry blend, strawberry, wildberry, tangerine, mango, raspberry, wintergreen. That's how you make cancer sweet. Why do they make tobacco taste sweet? Oh, why do they make tobacco taste sweet? They help me with my homework when I'm stuck. They help me when I'm down and out of luck. They help me with my growing up. Help my parents too. They help with all the things that kids can do. I'm really glad they made the Children's Day Society. I'm really glad they made the Children's Day Society. They help me with their dentist doctors too. They help me figure out what's best to do. They teach me how to use my hands, to use my mind, to find the kind of life I like to find. I'm really glad they made the Children's Day Society. I'm really glad they made the Children's Day. What makes you happy?
Welcome back to the Nick Gambaro Show. As we're gonna wrap up here, I just want to thank my friend again, Stefan Martinez. Much
you for having me.
appreciated for being a guest 2
Thank you.
weeks in a row.
Thank you. Appreciate
We
it.
had some great conversations. Any last thoughts or?
For all you the viewing audience, I want you to understand that when we talk about all these different rivalries, we're coming from a place that we feel these very same emotions that we speak of. We talk about, players in different cities and how these fan bases interact. These are the conversations that me and Nick have on a very, very close and consistent basis. We talk about this all the time. So we hope that our passions and our genuine love for these things came through the screen and you guys enjoyed what you were watching.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with Stefan more. I just want to thank everyone for watching. And if you'd like to email us, you can email thenickgambaroshow@gmail.com. Any comments or questions. So thank you again for watching and see you soon.
There are many arguments against the death penalty. It's not a deterrent against the crimes that it punishes. Society who use the death penalty don't have lower crime rates than those that do. When a country abolishes the death penalty, they are not plunged into criminal chaos. But even if the death penalty did reduce crime rates, would it then be acceptable?